Guys, I'd like to welcome to the podcast a new guest. This is Mayor Trent Staggs. He's the mayor of Riverton, Utah. He's running for the U.S. Senate in Utah, and in the Republican primary, he's going to be running against one Mitt Romney. He was born and raised in Utah. He's a successful entrepreneur, husband, and father. His website, Trent Staggs, that's STAGGS.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at Mayor Staggs, STAGGS. Trent, welcome to the podcast. This is very interesting. You are challenging Mitt Romney for the Republican nomination, which very likely is going to be the winner in a Republican state, namely Utah. Let's start talking about Romney. Now, for a guy like me, it's a little hard to believe that this guy was, in fact, the Republican nominee for president at one time. And yet since then, he appears to have, I don't know what's happened to Mitt Romney, or maybe this was always Mitt Romney and there was a kind of illusion of Romney that was created in the 2012 campaign against Obama. Talk a little bit about, you've been able to watch Romney up close from inside of Utah. What's the deal with Mitt Romney?
Yeah, I have, and it's been very confusing. I think most Utahns back in 2018, when he moved here and he decided to run for U.S. Senate, they took him at his word. He had said out there, and we put in our launch video this 30-second spot that he said, if you elect me as your senator, I will put us on a path to a balanced budget. I will end illegal immigration. I'll stop federal spending and overreach, and I'll appoint conservative justices to the court. And so we look at his record over these past 5 years that hasn't reflected that at all. In fact, he's done just the opposite. And Utahns are very frustrated with Mitt Romney. We can see it. His poll numbers have gone down considerably. He's far below a majority that view him favorably right now in this state. And people are wanting to have a true conservative in the seat. Utah deserves it. Utah deserves to have a true conservative in the seat. We're such a conservative state, and to have another Mike Lee, if you will, representing us only makes sense.
Now, with regard to Romney, Romney had liberal elements in his record, even going back to Massachusetts. But it seemed like in 2012 against Obama that he was on the balance running on a conservative platform. And you say he did the same in 2018 when campaigning for the Senate. He somehow convinced Utah that he was a conservative Republican. Now, let's talk about where he hasn't delivered. What has Romney done in terms of votes? Has he voted to keep the border open? Has he voted to confirm Biden justices? Has he voted to increase spending?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he votes with Biden 60% of the time. It's been shown. And that's what I've said is that, hey, look, Massachusetts doesn't need a third senator. We need to have somebody that's really representing Utahns and actually do the things that he said he was going to do. And he just hasn't. So to take them point by point, as you just delineated there, when it comes to Biden justices, the radical Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, he was one of just 3 Republicans to vote to confirm her. Isn't it all in keeping with appointing conservative justices to the court? He didn't help at all end illegal immigration. He's been completely silent there. He wouldn't support President Trump when he had the opportunity to on a border wall back in his first year in office. In Romney's first year in his Senate term. In fact, he was one of just a few Republicans that confirmed Secretary Mayorkas, who has been a complete disaster there on the border. He hasn't done anything with spending, to rein spending in, that is, like he promised. In fact, he's voted for trillions more in omnibus and many other spending projects. He hasn't been serious about getting us on a path to a balanced budget like he said he would. In fact, he had a great opportunity here just in May, Dinesh. Senator Mike Lee, our great senator here in Utah, put together a letter, sent it out to President Biden and said, look, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling unless we get substantial spending cuts and budget reforms. He had 42 other Republicans that signed that letter, to include Mitch McConnell. And we couldn't get Mitt Romney to put his name on that letter. For somebody that purports that putting us on a path to a balanced budget is a key initiative and priority for him, that should have been a very easy thing to do, and he just hasn't done it.
Now, Every time I see Romney in the news, it's almost always making some derogatory comment about Trump. We can't have Trump. We got to make sure that Trump is no longer on the ticket. I wonder if that is the key to what broke Mitt Romney, that for some reason, I mean, generally when we think of Trump derangement syndrome, it's on the left, but there are some Republicans who have Trump derangement syndrome. Do you think Mitt Romney is one of them?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, clearly this guy is infatuated. He is so preoccupied with Trump. That's the only thing I've seen him get passionate about, right? We want him to fight for Utahns and do these things he said he was going to do. But the only thing I say that I've seen him get passionate about is fighting against President Trump. And here's a guy who he excoriated him back in 2016. He had this speech, Mitt Romney did. And then he tried to curry favor with him after the presidential election, wanted to be the Secretary of State, got looked over. And since then, now you just see this. It seems so personal with him. And I've said in other interviews and things that he allows personal beefs to get in the way of good governance. We've seen this with Mitt Romney, and he is just on a one-track mind or mission to try to frustrate President Trump at every turn. And I think it's just futile. I think Romney doesn't understand. He's part of this bygone era of republicanism where they really did nothing for their constituents. They were more concerned about maintaining power. And what we see in President Trump is somebody who actually acts, who gets things done. And that's what the Republican electorate wants. They don't just want somebody like a Mitt Romney that gets up there and pontificates and really doesn't do anything. They want action. That's what President Trump's delivered, and I know he would do again.
Yeah, let's take a pause. When we come back, more with Mayor Trent Staggs. Website is trentstaggs.com. You can follow him at Twitter at Mayor Staggs. Be right back. Debbie and I are on a great health journey, but we still struggle to eat enough fruits, veggies, and fiber, and those are a necessity. Now, lucky for us, we discovered Balance of Nature, and there's no better way to get all your fruits and veggies plus fiber than with Balance of Nature. This is Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies made from fresh whole produce. The produce is powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. And here's Balance of Nature's Fiber and Spice, a proprietary blend of fiber and 12 spices for overall and digestive health. Start your journey to better health right now. This is the final week to get free fruits and veggies travel set, plus $25 off your first order as a preferred customer when you use promo code AMERICA. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751, or go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code AMERICA.